Hi, it's Steve Shikatans coming to you on this beautiful June morning. It's real early in the morning. It's about 6:30 here in wonderful Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming. Um, Today's topic, it's gonna be called PMA Point of View. So PMA stands for Positive Mental Attitude, and I just believe it's so important to to go through. You have a choice of how you think. One thing you may you may have to you may have a lot of things to think about in your life, but the way you think is you have complete control over it. So the reason I wanted to talk about point of view is because Napoleon Hill wrote this. I changed it slightly, but it means the same thing. But every setback carries with it the seed of an equivalent benefit or advantage. So, um, so I'm gonna read that again, or I'm gonna say that again. Every setback carries with it the seed of an equal benefit or advantage. So if you want to let that soak in for just a minute, basically, so that means your point of view on your setback will determine where your life goes. So I guess the example here is a setback could be a setback could be like a broken leg. I about 15 years ago I had an accident on a forklift, and I was ejected out of a train car in a forklift, and I shattered my leg. And we ended up we were it was like a week later. We had this big cruise plan, family get together, like a reunion. We're on a big cruise ship down in the Gulf of Mexico and all this stuff. And anyway, that all had to get canceled for my family at that time. And and it was like, you know where is the benefit of that, you know and so I think, because I mean, a lot of people are like, well, I was in a really bad car wreck and now I've hurt my back or shoulder or neck, and or I hit my head really hard, or I've lost a limb. How can there be any kind of benefit or advantage? But think about what it's saying. Every setback carries the seed. What is a seed? A seed is just a little. It's got all the potential in the world, but if it's not planted, it really doesn't do anything. But the seed has infinite possibilities into it. So the seed of an equal benefit or advantage means that um, you've got to ask yourself some questions. Do I believe you have to look for it. It's the looking is taking that seed. First of all, where is your point of view on this? Is my point of view to take that setback and look for the equal benefit or advantage? At that time in my life, I mean, I look back on that, and at the time, I really didn't see this stuff, but I was just working too much. I was going like 16, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, just going, and I wasn't slowing down at all. And by having that leg break, that put me in basically bedridden for 3 or 4 months. So the benefit of that was my physical body and soul got to rest, and that rest is probably what I needed. I could have been working myself into an early grave, as they say, just by thriving on the stress and stuff. So I got to do kind of a reset, just kind of go back and realize that I wasn't in control, and got to do some self analysis. And I mean, there was benefits. The benefit was equal to the setback, but I had to really look for it. And so PMA is positive mental attitude. I had to have a positive mental attitude before I could find that. And the positive mental attitude is associated with faith. So faith is taking the seed, or taking the setback, and really looking for the benefit or the advantage. Is that taking that seed and planting it into the ground, and planting it into the ground is the faith part, because once it's down there, it's down in the dark, you can't see it. You just have to have faith that something is going to come of it, and then you sort of look for it. So if I'm going to plant something in a pot, for example, I'm going to look at it every day and see if there's anything that comes up. And when I start to see something come up, then my faith can grow. So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Um, so do I have faith? So you need to ask yourself, do I have faith in my setback? Am I looking for the benefit or advantage? That statement requires some action. It requires you to actually go in and look for it, because otherwise, the other side of the coin is just to say, why did this happen to me? Life's so unfair. This kind of thing always happens to me, and it's not fair. I don't deserve this, and and I guess you need to ask yourself in that point is, well, if not you, who? Uh, you know, I'm not trying to be harsh here. I'm just saying that you're you you have the choice to look at things the way you want to look at them. And your point of view um, can determine where your life goes. I mean, it's kind of exciting, because um, when something bad happens, you don't have to get down in the dumps. But you have to look for it. And I mean, this is going to require some work. And one of the things I learned a long time ago is the crowd is wrong. So whatever everybody else is doing, if you basically just do the exact opposite, you're going to be unusually successful. So what everybody else does, most people right now, I mean, we're still in the pandemic, um, and there's some other stuff going on right now. A cop killed a guy, and it was horrible. And but again, when you if you take faith and you mix that with action, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to get to work a little bit. You have to sit down and be honest with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, all right, you know, I can do this. Like I said, coming from the point of view of a positive mental attitude, you can take your setback, and it can be, depending on how you look at it, and create, and having a little bit of faith that there is such a thing, there is a benefit, there is something on the other side. Edison, he when he was trying to invent the light bulb, I heard he tried 10,000 different elements before he came up with the one that made the light work. And he didn't look at those as failures. Those setbacks were just, he just said, well, I just found a bunch of ways that it doesn't that doesn't work. And he actually discovered some other things in the process, but it's because he had a purpose and a goal, and he had some faith. So that those quote unquote setbacks were leading him toward the solution, and there was a huge benefit. I mean, he lit up the entire world. I mean, there's everything, all the lights you see today are in a direct result of him not giving up, and him using this. So I guess the other thing that comes to mind when we're talking about this is going the extra mile. So you can see where he was going the extra mile by not giving up and just continuing to press forward. But I want to talk about some stuff that's a little less, some subtle areas that you can go the extra mile. Are you the first one to say good morning? Are you the first one to smile at somebody? Are you the first one to do that little bit of extra? Do you go the extra mile even though you're not being paid? I mean, when people tell me that, oh, I'm not paid to do that, it's like, yeah, that's true, because and you're probably not going to get any advancements in your life. And what's interesting is that when you do go the extra mile with a good positive mental attitude, you will, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's amazing the the quantum leaps that I've had in my life realistically come from going the extra mile, doing just a little more than I'm paid to do. You know, invest in, and that's an investment in my future. And you have to go at it with a positive mental attitude. If you have the right attitude when you do this, man, it can just, you can move it. It's mountains will get moved, and but with the wrong attitude and the wrong, a little bit of a bitterness about, well, I have to do this. It's amazing. It's almost like life stops. It's like a water faucet. When you're in a positive mental attitude and you're just doing it, and you do it in faith, and you don't worry about, I don't, when I don't worry about what I'm going to get out of it, it's like the water faucet gets turned on to the maximum. But when I start thinking, well, I'm not getting paid to do this, it's almost like the water fountain shuts off, and the blessings in my life stop, and I don't get anywhere in my life. I get very little. I get barely anything. And so it's an interesting concept here, that if you put in your, if you apply this, if you put a little faith in this and you look at it and go the extra mile, be the first one to say good morning. That's I do it in my exercising. I always add a little bit. If I'm trying to do 50, I'll do 60. If I'm doing like reps on my push-ups, I'll do just a few extras. I'll always do a little bit extra, and I figure that way I'm putting a little more into what I'm doing. And plus it gives, I'm just, if you take this and make it a habit, so making something a habit means that you do it enough times. I smoked when I was younger. I smoked cigarettes, and it took about a month or so of smoking at least one a day for it to become a habit. And then I smoked for several years, and when I decided to quit, it was very difficult to stop doing that, even though I knew it wasn't helping me, and it was there was just way more bad than the good that it was giving me, by smoking versus stopping. And my point is that it became a habit, and in the same way, and that was a bad habit. And I'm glad I was able to finally stop, which it took a pretty good effort to stop smoking. And but I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that if you could make this a habit of going the extra mile, if you go the extra mile and put a little more into what you put a little more into your job than what you're paid for, put a little more into, if you're a mother, put a little more into those kids than, I know you're not paid, but you sort of are paid. You're paid in the seeing your kids grow up, and I think that motherhood is the most important job that there is. And so you are paid by watching your kid develop, and I mean it's incredible. It's a huge payment. But if you put just a little bit more, let this become a habit for you, just like smoking was for me. Let going the extra mile become a habit. That's kind of what I've done over the years. I don't even think about it. When you're doing a habit, I used to smoke, and I'd have a cigarette going, and I'd light another one. I'd have two of them going. I didn't even realize I was smoking the one in the first place. It was such a habit. And it's the same thing with going the extra mile today for me, is that I just do it. I just go the extra mile. And sometimes you can do it in all different kinds of ways. For example, I'm going to go the extra mile and being nicer to people. That's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to be nicer and good to people, more than they would get from anyone else. And have a good attitude. Having a good attitude, and doing my work with a smile, and my point of view should be, man, I get to do this. I get to make these podcasts. I get to do the work that I get to do. I really enjoy working with my hands, and I get to do that today. And people pay me to do it. I mean, I would do this stuff for nothing and yet I get paid to do it. I mean, it's an incredible life. And so, um, the neat thing here is that there's a lot of different principles. For me, I think when you make something a habit and you do it, a habit is something that you do almost without thinking about it. Like for me, I'm in the habit of brushing my teeth every day, every morning, and I don't even think about it practically. I just do it, and it's because I've done it, every single day. So doing something every day, I decided to make these talks every day, about 20 minutes, and so every day I'm looking forward to it. This morning I was like, what am I going to talk about? And so I have to get inspired. But I listen to, I'm listening to stuff on tape. I'm reading books that are good. I'm deciding what I put into my mind, which is a garden. I'm deciding what seeds I'm planting in there, and so these are the things that this stuff is just, it's worked in my life over the years, and I know it will work for you. It's principles and laws of success, and really just living life and getting the most out of life. So um, when life goes wrong, do I believe that I am that I that do I believe that I'm going to find something good out of that? And it's amazing that when you switch your mind over and you start to look for those things, um, man, it's you'll find what you're looking for. So if you just decide to start complaining and just say, why does life happen to me? I heard 90% of people, um, or 95% of people don't tell people your problems, because 95% of them don't care, and 5% of them are glad it's you and not them. So that's a true statement. It's very true. And so don't so your point of view, don't have your point of view there. It's up to you. You have the choice. That's the neat thing about this. You can choose to look at your setback as an opportunity. And that's how I've had the biggest breakthroughs in my life, is by looking for those. And yeah, it's tough at times. You feel like giving up, and sometimes life happens, and man, you got to just stop and assess everything. But keep your mind positive and look for the benefits, look for the advantages, and then move from there. And you will find, like I have, that you're really happy. And your happiness can be just a point of view as well. Abraham Lincoln said that a person's about as happy as they make up their mind to be. He kind of made that when he was in office. He made that public, just put it out there as a public, a service announcement, kind of. A person's as happy as they make up their mind to be. And so I choose to be happy today. I choose to look at my problems as not problems. I choose to look at my setbacks as opportunities, and I'm very grateful today. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful if you're listening to this. I'm very grateful for you to listen to this. And I think you can. I think if you can apply a few of these things I'm talking about, your life will just change dramatically, and you'll find a new peace and inner meaning, and you'll get such benefits, and the life will just bless you immensely. But again, no matter where you're at right now, no matter where you're at, just stop and look for the benefits and the advantage of your setback, and you will just be amazed that you'll find what you're looking for. So you have the choice. You can decide you can look for that, or you can go to the other side, and you can just look at, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? This always happens to me. So it's your choice. So there's a lot of power in this. You do have complete control over the way you think. So I hope this is an encouragement to you today. I want to say, like I always do, don't give up. You can do this. Keep looking, keep digging, keep looking, keep trying to find the answer. Plant those seeds, and it will, if this stuff does work. I'm living proof. I'm no one special. I had learning disabilities through school. I barely made it, and yet I'm running a successful business, and I'm truly happy today. So thanks, and have a great day. Bye bye.